Hi, everybody. It's Jay, and I am back again in the booth with you for another sneak peek video preview for this week's new release here on Say with Jay. Our new audiobook release this week is Dreaming of His Pen Pal's Kiss. It's the 6th book in Jessie Gussman's Cowboy Mountain Christmas Sweet Romance series. Now, before I get into the book, I just wanted to share a thought or two that I had with you. Being of a certain age that I am, I enjoy the memes on middle age that you see online. Like, one day you're in your 20s and the next day you have a favorite grocery store. Because that's actually true. I do have a favorite grocery store. And I've got some stores I don't really like that. Sorry, not relevant. Another one that I've seen that's I thought was pretty funny, but hit kind of close to home, was middle age is pretty much waking up one day and realizing you care a lot about bird watching. And I gotta admit, that's gotten to be kind of true for me. As many of you know, and I've shared here with you guys on the channel, I enjoy having like a little devotional time in the morning on my covered patio area, and also raising a minion army, which is going pretty well, as it turns out. Here you can see I have a doorman. Not very assertive at this point, but we're working on that. In addition to that, I've got a bird feeder that's set up not very far from where I sit, feeding the chipmunks. And once I'm settled in, and I'm quiet for a little bit, the birds will just ignore me, and they'll come back and they'll start feeding there and on the ground around and stuff like that. And I did start to notice over the last year that there were a lot of different kinds of birds that I would see. I actually took the time to try to document them and look them up online and, make a list of the kinds of birds I was seeing. I think I came up with 15 or 16 different ones. Everything from mourning doves to titmice to cowbirds and catbirds and swallows and Carolina wrens and sparrows and, nuthatches and chickadees, woodpeckers. And one morning, I noticed that this young female cardinal, and I should say I get a lot of cardinals. They seem to like the seed mix that I use for the chipmunks. But this morning, a young female cardinal came and sat in this little spindly rose bush that I've got sitting there. And by the way, you can tell a cardinal's age by the color of its beak. They don't get that distinctive orange beak until they're adults. So if you see a cardinal with a gray or a brownish beak, they're a juvenile. More you know. Anyway, this teenage female cardinal is sitting in this bush, and she clearly hasn't seen me. And all of a sudden, she starts to sing. And it's just like it's really, really quiet, but it's like this really melodious warbling. And I don't know if you've had a chance to observe cardinals much, but for me, my experience has been that the adult cardinals don't sing. They have just a single one-note chirp. I mean, it's not unpleasant or anything, but it's not what I'd call singing. And it kind of made me a little sad, because I could just kind of envision this, this teenager trying to find her voice. And it was, like I said, it was very quiet. It was almost like she was singing to herself. And I thought, how sad that would be if when she grows up, she loses this gift and just chirps. To contrast that, I thought that very same morning, I had a visitor that I get about every other day or so. One more species of bird that I didn't list, because I don't see that many of them, but I see this one very consistently. I hear him coming long before I see him. And I'm talking about a bird that's very ubiquitous in the United States, at least, the blue jay. Blue jays, if you're unfamiliar, are very loud. They are very vocal, a lot of different vocalizations. I think they're actually cousins of crows. But I did not realize they actually are considered songbirds. Think you'd be kind of hard pressed to consider what they do as singing, but and every morning or every other morning or so, I've got this one blue jay who will fly up in a tree right next to my patio. He will get within, he will get in visual sight of me where we can see each other, and he starts to caw like a crow until I will toss him one peanut. He will swoop down, pick up the peanut, and fly off. But I got to thinking, especially after seeing this cardinal, that this blue jay, who is technically a songbird and likes to make lots and lots of noise, kind of reminded me, you probably know somebody maybe in church who really enjoys singing during hymns and stuff, who might not be the best at it, but that doesn't deter them in the slightest. And I was thinking how God loves that kind of singing just as much as any other. And, really, I think he wants us to be like that blue jay. It doesn't matter what your song sounds like. Don't hide that light under a bushel basket. Make that joyful noise and go share the gifts that each and every one of us have, because you never know when that gift that you share might be the turning point in somebody's day. Okay, back to Dreaming of His Pen Pal's Kiss. Dreaming of His Pen Pal's Kiss is the story of Dante Tollinson, who is a professional football player. He's come to Mistletoe to recuperate and heal and rehab after injuring his leg in a car accident. And as he's going to have a long stay in the hospital there, one of his coaches encourages him to take part in this church outreach program where he communicates by letter with a pen pal. It's kind of a secret pen pal. They don't reveal their identities to each other. But he becomes fascinated with his pen pal and wants to know more about her. He's also finding, though, during his stay, that he's becoming equally attracted and fascinated with the nurse that's taking care of him. That nurse is Journee Barclay. Yes, another one of the Barclay children. And Journee is not interested in the football player at all, but she's interested in a man no one around has met. Now, when Dante is released from the hospital and the two of them are forced to team up and be a part of Mistletoe's Not-So-Ironman Ironman competition, can they put aside their pen pals and find love with each other? You know you're going to have to come back this Friday for the full release, but here is a little sample of Dreaming of His Pen Pal's Kiss for you to enjoy here on Say With Jay. She scrunched up her nose. Suggestions on how to wrap this thing? I've never wrapped anything, remember? That's right. If you and I get to spend any more time together, you are definitely getting gift wrapping lessons. A person cannot go through life never having wrapped a gift. And I'm not even kidding about that. Will you hate me if I say I can think of about 7,000 things I would rather do other than wrap gifts?
Of course not. I never thought for one second that you actually wanted to wrap anything. But we learn all kinds of things we don't actually want to do, right? Like cook. You have to cook, right?
Take out.
You're kidding.
No. Why would I want to know how to cook? She didn't quite believe him with the twinkle in his eye, but she went with his words and not her gut feeling.
So that you don't have to eat takeout.
Takeout can be healthy. I mean, you can get healthy takeout. The grocery store down the street lets you buy salad by the pound, and you can make it however you want to. She shook her head.
Stop. Just stop. You don't wrap gifts. You can't cook. What can you do?
He looked at his hands. Apparently, I can catch hogs. He lifted the leg that he still held and continued to scratch the piglet. The piglet kind of acted like it wanted to lie down.
If you put that thing to sleep, I'll be really impressed.
I'm doing my best. I think his eyes are closed. If it's sleeping while standing on 3 legs, that counts, right?
It has to be lying down in order for it to count. Nice try, though.
She pursed her lips, blowing out through them, studying the pig. She had no idea how to wrap something that was going to be moving. The artist in her balked at the idea, but she said,
I think the best thing to do is just get a lot of paper out and wrap it up like a blanket with as much paper as we can get on it. Throw pieces of tape on it to keep it stuck, and yell for Mally.
You're calling the play again. She laughed.
No, but I can if you want me to.
He shook his head. No, you're going to say something like Hicks 25 slant back J through 1. You'll just end up confusing everyone.
Considering that everyone is exactly you and the pig, I don't think that's the worst thing that could happen here.
You could be right about that. I can think of several other things that could happen that would be worse than being confused. He looked at his hand and seemed to judge the short distance between his hand and the backside spigot on the pig. Journee had to giggle.
It might be worse for you, but the only thing that could make my original picture better would be to have some additional organic matter in it.
Organic matter sounds like a rather erudite term for something that could more basely be termed. Journee put her hand up.
This is a family festival.
I was gonna say poop. She narrowed her eyes at his innocent look.
Sorry, my bad, she said sweetly.
Taking the wrapping paper, she did exactly what she said she was going to do. Unrolled it, held it over the pig, and wrapped the tube around and around and around. You do realize you have my hand in that.
Was there a rule against that? I mean, was I not allowed to wrap hands along with the gifts?
His face scrunched a little, thinking. I guess not.
Well then, consider it your sacrifice for the cause.
I'm kind of feeling like I should be getting a movie vibe here, but I'm not.
That doesn't surprise me. I was totally channeling Gone with the Wind, but I don't think it's politically correct anymore anyway, so you're probably very hip to be completely clueless.
Well, it's important to me to be hip, so I'll continue to be clueless. Journee groaned without taking her eyes off her work.
I'm getting ready to put the tape on. You want to call Mally? She seems like she was more partial to you than me anyway.
Think so? There was definitely humor in his voice, and she was sure he knew exactly what she was talking about. Hi, this is Jay, and thanks for listening. If you're ready for another great audiobook, here's one we think you might like. Or check out the playlist with all our latest releases. Don't forget to subscribe to Say with Jay, give this video a thumbs up, and tell us what you liked in the comments.